Hello everyone, welcome to Hired Plane Games. My name's Simon and this is Lightfield, a game that I have been hotly anticipating for quite a while actually. So it's really great to have it out and about. However, I think sometimes we get very excitable in our heads about a certain concept, and when it's not quite perfectly realised, it then becomes extra frustrating. So the premise of this game is fantastic. It's almost a drive where you want game. So here's a track. Let's look at Verticon Service. Each track you unlock through gaining XP on the previous track that you've been on, and the tracks are rather beautiful. You control this ship, and you get basically put into the arena. So if you want to go for races or time trials, you kind of fly through there. Otherwise, you can go off on exploration mode, which is what we're seeing. You can see these little things over here. They are crystals that you can get, and there we go, we're off on exploration mode. So we can go and find, I believe it's 20 or 30 stars that are out and about. And you can see there like a little thing of where to go for your next thing. So you've got like a bit of a weird explorer mode to try and get stuff. There's also treasures that are out and about that are hidden around in each of the areas that you can try and get for. And it makes a nice change of pace from everything that you've got in the game itself. However, if you don't want to go back to somewhere, you can then go for a beginning, pro, advanced or hyper race. You can go for time trial, or you can go for online multiplayer or local multiplayer as well. So I'm going to start a beginner's race so that you can kind of see what happens. So the main premise of this game is that your speed of your vehicle gets faster if you glide across a surface. But as you can see, as we look around this like pre-montage of the track, which you can skip, the surfaces go in 360 and they're upside down, and you flip back and forth, and there's a very steep initial difficulty curve to understand what you need to and want to do. So here I am driving around. You press an accelerator, and that's me going through to kick something off. You then kind of let go and try and dive onto other things, but as you can see, that diving can be any degree, and then you can see the first of the bugs that I'm about to talk about in a second. But it's up to you to work out how to get from checkpoint to checkpoint as fast as possible. Now I'm doing terribly on this specific code. Through the checkpoint, we can hit on there. The photons that I've just gone through are how you get XP, and they also kind of point you in some of the good directions. So I'm using an accelerator and a face button to be able to stick to the world. But in order to not just crash into surfaces, I'm also using the left analog stick to kind of orientate myself vaguely around, so that I can hop from surface to surface as quickly as I can. Now you can see I'm hitting these types of things here, partly because they give me XP for doing so, and XP is all about unlocking future tracks, of which I believe there are 7 initially. But what's really good about this is that you can see the computer about how quickly they get from place to place, so they kind of unlock different shortcuts for you as you go around, and whilst you kind of orientate yourself, because it takes, for every track, it certainly takes a good few goes to get it right. And when I first started this game, getting used to using a trigger to accelerate, a face button to stick to a surface, and the left analog stick in a whole 360 degree motion, it takes some getting used to. You can see I'm kind of hitting things that let you kind of flick the circuit around as well, so that you can cause problems for other drivers. Let's try a different way this time. And one of the kind of things about this game was it was like you can fly and drive anywhere, and yes, that's technically true, but you still need to get through checkpoints, and you're still driven by how do I do that as fast as possible. So actually you find yourself kind of flying through certain areas the same regardless. So you'll have already seen the first bug that I want to talk about with this game, and it's that the game freezes quite often, and there seems to be no rhyme and reason as to why, because it's not when it's accessing online leaderboards, it's not when it's accessing other time trial ghosts, it just seems to freeze at random, and I don't understand what is causing it. It's very frustrating, because sometimes it will do it just as you're about to do something really crucial and time-consuming. Not time-consuming, but precision-based. And so you kind of go, ah! And crash into things, and it can cause you some problems. Here you can see at the end of each race the stats that you get. The snap ratio is how many times or how long in the race I was snapped to a surface. You can see how many ledge jumps I've done, which is where you flick yourself high, which can give yourself a miniature boost. You can perform tricks by kind of barrel rolling in between stuff, which I didn't do there. There you can see one of the jumps where the game freezes. After that value, it's kind of so an XP I collected is the photons and stuff like that I've done along the way. So you can see my XP trail going up on the top, and that will push towards when I get to 180,000 I'll unlock the next track, and you can see the tracks that I've unlocked so far. So that was track 2 that I'm on. If I dive into track 3, which is Lost Structure, I've got it there. I can do up to 4 player locally, which is rather fabulous. You can switch between tracks if you need to as well. Excuse me. The other big thing that you can do is increase and decrease the game speed, which is why it's really confusing that the game freezes, because it doesn't matter if you're going at 0.2 speed or 3 times the speed, it still stutters at the same rate and is really, really, really frustratingly confusing with that. There's all your trophies, the stuff that you've done along the way. There's your buttons. There's your thing there. Now, it took me a while to get used to this menu, because the menu is constant and about everywhere. And it got patched recently, so I kind of was like, oh, okay. Because the menus kept on like pouring out across each other and colliding, and it felt like one of those things where someone had gone a little bit too far with trying to make an aesthetic work. And it was really frustrating because menus would just like clash into each other. It seems to have got better over time. So let's try this thing so that you can see just how different and varied the tracks are. And let's first off do some time trials, so that you can see how the ghost side of stuff works. And again, I'm just doing this at normal 1. So you can see from the very beginning, you get different time trials ghosts to play with. And you can see how this one, you've really got to dive and jump between different things. But again, this is where I was talking about earlier, where it is mega helpful to see where the AI go. Ooh, that was a jump that went a bit wrong there, Smithy. Because if you don't jump properly, or you miss something out, you will crash and cause an issue. The other thing is, can you see that there was some of the stuff off the standard racing line where the stars were from the exploration mode? Annoyingly, if you hit those, you will be taken out of your race and straight into exploration mode. And I wish they'd kind of turn it off and you could flick between the two just like randomly. Well, there's a lap. What you'll very quickly see, or hopefully you'll see, is joining the gang this time round, you'll see me. And also my leader position, because I've done this one completely wrong. Can't be going faster this time round. Maybe I am. So you can see I'm 34th in this leaderboard. That's more about what the jumps are about. Oh, there we go. There's a crash. Got that wrong. Okay, he's out of six anyway because we needed to get through there. But what you'll find is by watching what the AI get up to, if you can keep up with them, you'll spot all kinds of little tricks of the trade of how to get around these tracks way faster than what you initially think you will do. That photon storm is just the first shot. There we go, so we continue on. So that was slower and put me 36. You can see my precision of how long I'm snapped to an area. There's yet again the freeze frame. And you continue on. So let me dive out of this. Let's go for an advanced race here. I won't be able to keep up with the AI, I can tell you now. I really like how you're kind of pushed where to go by the light trail that everyone gets, which reminds me so much of like Groovy Tron, but also the light wind trail that you get as things go through. Oh, going the wrong way. This isn't going to work very well this race, is it? There we go, we miss a checkpoint. So if you need to respawn, you hit down and it will take you back to wherever you are. Now I've completely bollocks this race. So what I may do, just because I don't want to bore people, is we'll dive onto a different circuit. We'll cancel the race. We keep the XP that we gained as we went through. And where we're out of race mode, we'll either need to physically start a new race, or we need to find a star to start us off on exploration mode where we can take ourselves around, which is the funness. Let's try Confield Bay as a final thing. And then what I'll do as well, because of this whole thing about where you can change the different speeds of the game, which is a fascinating concept, I have to say. So let's play with that. So Oh, there we go, straight off. And this is like proper pro-ness that you need. So where am I going? So you can see where the light has come from. So let's dive back in and start back off again. So we're through there, we're through there. Up. And I'm not good enough at this game to be able to do what I need to do. But you can clearly see that the game is running way faster. I just check this. Where's it going? Or I can come out and just go into exploration mode. Go and find me some stars. But it's fascinating that you can do that. Ooh, what's that? Oh no, it's a... Just about to go, cool. Have I found me a treasure? I haven't. But the fact that the game is quite capable and able to do this, and it doesn't seem to be having a problem, makes me then really confused as to why it freezes on all different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly bring myself back in again because I'm embarrassing myself. But I just wanted to show you that it's there. And let's finish off with a little beginner race here on this track. Now I've not actually played this track, which is why I'm all over the shop. At least I can show you the concept of the game way better. See, look. Now it seemed to stutter less when it was running fast. And I wonder if that's like the game's native speed and it's freaking out trying to slow itself down. I don't know. But if they can patch that out and add a couple more tracks, because I believe there's only 7. It implies that there's a couple more hidden around. There might be different layouts in the same place, I'm not sure. This is a truly unique and fun experience that really confuses your head initially, but is immensely fun and satisfying to play with once you've got going on it. And so if they can patch out some of the bugs and add a little bit more content here, this would be great for your local multiplayers, online time trials. The AI is genuinely okay because you don't necessarily react with it at all, so it does its own thing. Where have I gone? Where have I gone? There we go. Go a different way this time. And the crux of it is all around, I'm not doing it very well, but essentially gliding across surfaces, then jumping off them to be able to give yourself enough of a little like leapfrog boost. Think of yourself more froggy based. And we're going up high on this one. Probably faster to go down low if you've got the ability to be able to aim for those holes. To be fair, I'm just trying to not disgrace myself now. Oh, like that. But even when that happens, I still find it fun, so long as it's me that's causing the issue. If it's a graphical glitch that's causing the issue, then no longer fun. But if it's just me being generally a little bit crap, that's okay. So see, they went through the hole. There's the shortcut. And so when you're in an advanced race, you'll see people taking that route. And someone's taking this route over here this time, which makes me think, I wonder if this way's slightly quicker. Let's explore this way. I see we're having to go through here this time. Photon's starting to catch up because we're not up on top. So maybe that might be quicker. But who knows? It's down to trial and error. And that's the beauty of this game, is that there are... Yes, you do have to still go through checkpoints, but you can see there's a myriad of different ways that you can get through them. Ultimately, there is a fastest way if you can work it out. We're way down the back anyway, so let's go high this time round for this one. So we're still crossing the same thing, but this time we're like coming in at a different angle. There we go! That is Lightfield. Genuinely enjoyable game. Really, really like the concept, the way how the thing handles, the graphics are fantastic, music's semi-okay, and the modes and looks here is great. Sort out the bugs, sort out some of the content areas, and sort out some of the menu bugs, which thankfully have not shown up here, but that I've had previously. And this game is a 2 thumbs up, heartily recommended. At the moment, I would recommend with caution, whilst it's got this freezing problem with the game that needs to be patched really quickly. But aside from that, if you're okay with playing this game with that problem for now, go grab. It's good fun. Thanks everyone for watching. This is Higher Plane Games. You guys all take care, and I'll catch you in another video if you subscribe to me tomorrow. Bye!